Welcome to ET English, the unique English language learning feature of Education Times. This recording is brought to you by Panthea Gunathilaka, the founder of Cleon, Academy for Speech, Drama and Leadership. The Education Times comes to you every week with the Sunday Times, a leading publication of Vijaya Newspapers Limited. ET English introduces a unique way of learning English. Through stories, it has a short novel and also a picture story, both of which are being published in episodes every week. All the lessons and activities that are given in the feature are from these two stories. Many English scholars accept that when you learn a language through stories, you remember them better. Further, the picture story will complement this by adding the visual component as well, where it will help the readers create vivid images in their minds, helping them remember those dialogues and the words through these incidents. Now we're going to bring the audio version of this feature, where you can listen to the stories and the lessons. First the picture story, secondly the novel, and finally the lessons. The short stories are taken from the book The Mirror of Paradise by Asghar Hussain, and beginning with the new picture story I, Jenners, writer Ranjit Gunaratne. To get the best out of this feature, we suggest that you get a copy of the Education Times and also a dictionary. Also, it will help if you read the feature once or twice on your own. At the same time, try to get the correct pronunciation by listening to audio attentively and repeatedly and trying to read it after every dialogue, emulating the voices that you hear. We shall start now. Today, we bring you a new picture story titled I, Jenners, the Youth of This Era. The writer, Ranjit Gunaratne. Illustrations by Anton B. Pereira. Episode 1. You better hurry up. Hans, they'll be here any minute.
Okie dokie, Mama. I'll be back in no time. Oh my God! Hey, idiots! Can't you see where you're going?
How dare you! You almost killed us, you stupid moron!
Dilky, please!
If you want to call your girlfriend, stop somewhere and do it. Don't kill innocent people.
Let's go. Dilky, please!
Enough! Enough! Stop babbling and go home now.
What? Who are you to tell me where to go? Let go of me, Nimali. Let me teach an unforgettable lesson to this road hog.
Ha ha ha! Come on, lady. Now beat it before I...
Before? You do what?
Let's start the short story. Episode 11. A Good Medical Boy. The short story continues. From The Mirror of Paradise by Asghar Hussain. Then he inquired about the girl, and after listening for a while said, "Ah, that's great! Now, if you give me your address, Mr. Dissanayake, I'll ask him to pay a visit on Wednesday, around noon. I'm sure I can't come because I'm leaving on a long business trip to Europe with my wife." Then he took down the address and said, "My son will be coming with a friend. Yes, I'll call you next week from London, Mr. Dissanayake." Rajpal put down the receiver and turned around. When he saw that he was glaring at him, he felt nervous. "So you'll be going with a friend, eh?" I asked. Yes," he replied, looking guiltily at me. I folded my arms and asked, "And who do you mind telling me was this friend might be?" He looked down and fidgeted a bit. "Well, actually, I had you in mind," he said. "I told him to get lost and walked away." Anyway, by the following afternoon, Rajpal had somehow convinced me to accompany him. I agreed only after he promised to read some medical literature first. However, a few hours later, when I walked into the canteen for a cup of tea, I felt like wringing his neck. Instead of referring medical books in the library, there he was, chatting with some fresher in a corner. As I got closer, I heard the youth asking him to explain dialectical materialism in a nutshell. This upset Rajpal, for he liked to speak at length on such matters. He looked at the fellow angrily and quoted what the late Bernard Soisa had told a supporter when faced with a similar request. "We don't sell dialectics in pill form." This was followed by a long and torturous lecture. It began with the philosophy of Marx and moved to the disputes that split the local socialist movement after independence. At the end of it, the poor fresher looked utterly confused. When he walked away, I'm sure he had lost whatever sympathy he had for the left. Let's start the activity time. We'll start with activity 1. Read the sentences and select the correct reference within brackets to the word underlined in each sentence and circle them. Number 1. Then he inquired about the girl. Rajpal. Number 2. If you give me your address, I'll ask him to pay a visit. Mr. Dissanayake. Number 3. When he saw that I was glaring at him, he felt nervous. Rajpal's friend. 4th one. So you'll be going with a friend, eh? I asked. Rajpal's friend. 5. And would you mind telling me who this friend might be? Rajpal's friend. Number 6. I agreed only after he promised to read some medical literature first. Rajpal. The 7th one. When I walked into the canteen for a cup of tea, I felt like wringing his neck. Rajpal. Number 8. He was chatting with some fresher in a corner. Rajpal. The 9th one. It began with the philosophy of Marx. Discussion. The 10th one. When he walked away, I'm sure he had lost whatever sympathy he had for the left. Fresher.
Activity 2. Match the phrasal verbs of the sentence from 1 to 6 with their meanings from A to F. The first one. I'll ask him to pay a visit on Wednesday. The answer is C. I'll ask him to come on Wednesday. The second one. He took down the address. The answer is D. He wrote the address. Third one. Rajpal put down the receiver. The answer is E. He kept the receiver. Fourth one. I walked into the canteen. The answer is F. I went to the canteen. The fifth one. When he walked away. The answer is B. When he left. Sixth one. He liked to speak at length. The answer is A. He liked to talk for a long time. Activity 3. Language focus. Reported speech. Learn the direct and indirect forms of speech. Direct speech. The first one. He said, "My son will be coming with a friend." Indirect speech. He said that his son would be coming with a friend. Second one. He said, "I will call you from London, Mr. Dissanayake." Indirect speech. He said that he would call Mr. Dissanayake from London. The third one. I asked him, "You will be going with a friend?" Indirect speech. I asked him whether he would be going with a friend. Direct speech. Fourth one. He replied, yes. He replied that he would. Direct speech. Fifth one. Well, actually, I had you in mind, he said. Indirect speech. He said that he had me in his mind. Activity 4. Let's learn some more language expressions from the picture story. Language expressions. The first one. You'd better hurry up. Possible application. You'd better start the session. The second one. I'll be back in no time. Possible application. I'll be back in a jiffy. Language expressions. Third one. How dare you speak like that? Possible application. How dare you force me to do things? Fourth one. Let me teach an unforgettable lesson. Possible application. Let me show something he'll never forget. Language expressions. Fifth one. You almost killed us. Possible application. You nearly ran over us. Activity 5. Find opposite words from the text. First one, short. Second one, enemy. Third one, innocently. Fourth one, relaxed. Fifth one, calmly. Sixth one, right.
Let's look at the word bank. Only the meanings relevant to the context in the stories are given. We have 15 words today. The first one, okie dokie, used to express agreement, informal or slang. The second one, dare, to be brave enough to do something. The third one, moron, an offensive way of referring to somebody stupid. The fourth one, babble, talk that is confusing or silly and difficult to understand. The fifth one, road hog, a person who drives in a dangerous way. The sixth one, glare, to look at somebody or something in an angry way. The seventh one, guilty, feeling ashamed because you have done something wrong. The eighth one, fidget, to keep moving your body, hands or feet because you are nervous. The ninth one, accompany, means to travel or go somewhere with somebody. The 10th one, dialectical materialism, a philosophy of science and nature based on the writings of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. The 11th one, nutshell, to say something in a very clear way using few words. The 12th word is torturous, long, complicated and difficult to understand. 13th word, philosophy, the study of the nature and the meaning of the universe and of human life. 14th one, socialist movement. It means a movement of people who believe that everyone has an equal right to a share of a country's wealth. The 15th and the last word for today, utter, used to emphasize how complete something is. Dear listeners, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to our recordings. You're welcome to give us your feedback and suggestions on the phone numbers and the email address given in the ET English feature in the Education Time section. We meet again next week. The recording was brought to you by Panthea Gunathilaka, the founder of Cleon Academy for Speech, Drama and Leadership. Until then, goodbye and happy learning.